Coach. Thanks for joining us.
You're welcome. It's a pleasure.
It's always great to talk to you. So it's been, 14 days, 15 days since the championship. How are you feeling right now?
Rushed.
Still rushed?
Well, when you play that late, you feel like you're behind in some areas.
Yeah.
But, we've caught up, and, Wednesday's the old signing date, which nobody signs anymore. And that's always a time where I give the staff off. And my wife and I will take a few days, too, and go somewhere sunny.
Maybe that's where it'll sink in a little bit.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. I noticed after the game, you pointed to the sky.
Yeah.
You talked about that with your
Right.
dad.
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
That was, I did something like that at App State, too. We had a big win at JMU, and it hit me. It wasn't planned. It was just spontaneous. And then I got the Gatorade bath, and which was very cold. And
okay, so everybody always thinks that you have to know that's coming.
No, actually, I never thought of it.
Really?
Yeah. But it came, and it was cold. And I was on Jeff about getting a sweatshirt, actually, afterwards, but we made it through.
Yeah.
But I'll take another Gatorade bath for that reason.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not in the semis, not in the quarters, but for the natty.
Somebody asked me about that, right? Yeah. I was like, I don't think he wants it before the national championship.
Absolutely not.
Yeah. So, in those last few minutes where the game's on the line,
yeah,
I think my wife thought I was going to have to go to the emergency room because I was going to pass out. Was your heart racing at that moment?
No, I got to stay in tune to the situation.
You're able to do that. You just kind of
and think ahead too, and we took some chances. We played to win, and we trusted our players to make the plays and went for it on fourth down a few times. And
is there a question about that decision? Who made that decision? Was that you?
Oh, I did. Yeah,
you did.
Absolutely. I'm the one that has to live with that.
Yeah.
And it's a gut feeling. And, we sent the field goal team out there, and I really didn't feel good about it at all. So called timeout, and felt like going for it was the thing to do.
What was you didn't feel good about the field goal? Why?
I just didn't feel good about going up 6 and giving them the ball with that much time, and all they need is a touchdown. So we've got an opportunity to get a 2-score lead. Confidence in the players. They've been making plays all year long. Quarterbacks have been making plays all year long. And, this way you go up 2 scores. They've got a bigger mountain to climb. And if we don't make it, they're pinned down pretty deep anyhow.
Yeah, the defense has been playing well all day.
Well, in the first half. Second half, Miami did move the ball some, but mainly because of our mistakes.
Yeah. So when you talked about your dad, and you have these set of you have this phrase that you go through all the time, and I hear you say it a lot.
Yeah.
Fast, physical, relentless,
right,
and goes on that. I want to break down each one of those and have you, because I've heard you say it, but I want to actually understand each element. So it starts with fast, physical, relentless.
Yep.
Is it intentional that the fast is in there, in that word?
Yeah, you want to play fast, especially in the skill positions. It's important to play fast. And playing fast is really, play 100%. Put it all out on the field. Physical, obviously. You play with your pads on. You got to win up front. But that physical relates to every single position, playing physical. Mm-hmm. You saw it with Fernando on the touchdown run. Wide receivers, downfield blocking. Everyone.
Is that what that's what it means? So like practically, I mean, I understand what it means, but when you're watching what players are doing, it's that wide receiver who gets down the field and makes the extra block. Is that what do you mean by the?
Yeah, we want to play snap the whistle, through the whistle, out at receiver, no hitters. Give great effort. That's how you score touchdowns, with great downfield blocking. Mm-hmm. And everybody's got it in them to be a physical football player because they're tough guys. We won't recruit them if they're not tough. It's don't take a break. There's no breaks during the game.
Is that true in practice as well?
Practice is pretty quick. It not quite game tempo in terms of physicality. A little more thud. Not quite as physical as a game. Otherwise, you have no players left to play with.
Yeah, true. And the smart, disciplined, poised.
Yeah, that kind of started about 3 or 4 years ago. You know, you got to make good choices and decisions on a football field. You got to make good choices, decisions off the football field. You got freedom of choice, but not freedom of consequence. So one of our goals is to be one of the lowest penalized teams in the country. 1 in 30 plays is our goal in defense, offense, and special teams. So, you know.
You can say that, but how does that, and you did it, you accomplished it.
Yeah.
A lot of teams say it, though.
Yeah, well, we live it. Eliminate pre-snap penalties. Don't hit the guy late out of bounds. Don't rough the quarterback. You're going to have some penalties, and there's going to be some penalties not called and some called that shouldn't be penalties. But we've been really high in the country in terms of fewest amount of penalties. And, it relates to turnovers, too, which the turnover ratio equals points, equals wins. And we were by far number one in the country at, I think, plus 21 or 22. You add the block punts in, which are like turnovers. You were about plus 26. And so you want to play smart. Everybody's got an assignment. 11 guys doing their job. I say it all the time. It's not addition, it's multiplication. When 11 guys do their job, fast, physical, relentless, it's going to work out. You get one guy not doing his job, the whole thing can break down. And poised. If you're playing that way, that one play at a time, 6 seconds a play, every play got life and a history of its own. Nothing.
What does the poised mean for you?
That's what it means. It's the process of playing one play at a time. So that now when you're in crunch time, you're not looking at the scoreboard, right? You've compartmentalized, plays over, next play. What's the call? What's my assignment? Alignment, technique, communication, if there's motion, and then doing your job. So it's playing the same way throughout the game, regardless of competitive circumstances.
In the 6 seconds of play, you talk about that too.
Yeah, and Grant King would say 13 for special teams, but that's too many words, 6 and 13. So, that one really was something down with Nick at Bama, and it made a lot of sense to me, and because the average play lasts about 6 seconds, and let it all hang out. Because the actual amount of time during a football game where there's action, it's pretty low.
Yeah,
it's like 10 minutes or something.
Right.
So, snap the whistle.
Yeah. And they talk about every play has a life of its own, which I guess is true, but why is that important?
Well, they're all teachable moments and things to learn from. But more importantly is when the play's over, it's on to the next play. That moment in time is over.
Yeah.
The life of that play is over until the players are in the film room with the coaches.
Yeah.
So it's really important not to be affected by success or failure in terms of being focused on this play. So you make a good play, you're not too up. Make a bad play, you're not too down thinking about it. You got to be ready to play this play.
So those kind of all fit together, not affected by success, not affected by failure, 6 seconds.
Absolutely. And never satisfied.
Yeah.
And that is more end of the game or when you build a big lead.
Yeah.
Because you're creating habits. And we're wanting to keep recreating the right habits, which will carry us through the season. You get up by 35 points in the fourth quarter and you relax. Let's say the twos are in and the bench is a little relaxed and guys are joking, you're creating bad habits that are going to sneak up on you down the road.
Okay. So that's why you've talked about how you go up and down the sideline and see if people are...
A little bit, yeah. Once in a
while. What is the freedom of choice but not freedom of consequences? That's an interesting thing for football, but also just in life in general, I think.
True.
How do you feel? Where did that come from?
I'm not quite sure where that one came from. I like sayings and those little things that kind of stick with you. First you form your habits, then your habits form you. Life's all about habits and choices and decisions. And when you got the right habits, you tend to make better decisions and choices. So you got to make them on the football field. You got to make them in life. It's going to go a long way in determining what kind of person you are, how successful you are, and how you're able to provide for your family.
Yeah. Do you feel like we've gotten away from that in a lot of areas?
In this society?
Yeah.
Perhaps.
Okay. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I know people talk about, I hear people talk about that a lot. And I don't know if they always understand what it means, so I think that's a great way to sum it up. After the game, you mentioned there was a paradigm shift in how football teams are categorized.
Right.
What do you think about that?
Oh, the nationwide football fan that probably engages or has a say in social media, and they all have self-interest. I get that,
Yeah.
and let's face it. But college football, the balance of power has shifted.
Mm-hmm.
There's no doubt about it.
In what way?
I think right now when you look at the two major conferences in college football, you're looking at the SEC and the Big Ten. And I do think there was a day where the SEC was the dominant conference, without a doubt. And the Big Ten made a big move with the TV contract, and then came the changes in college football where you could legally pay players. And now you've got the Big Ten with the last 3 national championships, head-to-head, doing really well against the SEC, good bowl game records, what have you, college football playoff head-to-head. And so now you got to earn it again. Everything's earned, not given.
Yeah.
Coach Saban used to always say you can't carry momentum from one year to the next. And that's what we're doing now. It's like building a house. You got to dig the hole, build the foundation, because every team is new nowadays, especially with the portal and the way football is.
Mm-hmm.
I think the balance of power has shifted. The results speak for themselves, but it means nothing in terms of what's going to happen next year.
Do you think that, I've heard people talk about what you've accomplished and the historic significance of it, you and your team, has changed the way people have expectations about football teams now and what they can accomplish? Do you think that's true?
Yeah, I've read some of that stuff and heard some of that stuff, and there's probably some validity to it. The fact that Indiana was down like they were, and in 2 years has, won a national championship, went to the college football playoff year 1, has to give a lot of other colleges across the country hope that with proper commitment from the top, that can be repeated. So now we did it pretty quickly. But it probably doesn't take quite as long as it used to back when the transfer rule was different.
Yeah.
And you kind of lived with your high school guys and developed them. It was a little bit of a different game then. Mm-hmm. Now it's kind of free agency to supplement your high school class.
Mm-hmm. And do you think, do you think that caused a lot of, there's so many coaching changes. Do you think that's part of the equation?
Yeah, I don't know. It seems like there's always a lot of coaching changes nowadays, ever since social media has become a big thing. And I think it's added to the pressure of the coaching business. I've said a few times in the past, coaching 1 season now is like coaching 4 in the past in terms of the pressure to win. It used to be you hired a guy, gave him a 5-6 year contract, and by year 3 or 4, he'd have the program in good shape and be ready to win. Mm-hmm. I think nowadays people want it. We want it now. Society, it's instant gratification.
Yeah.
And I tell.
Well, the problem is you've reinforced it now. That's the problem. But the great part,
there's no question about it. And that's unintentional, but it was intentional too.
Yeah.
Because you're in it to win it. And, I tell our coaches, and even told the team a few times those last few weeks, you got to play to win, man. You got to let it all hang out. You win, you're a hero. You lose, you're a bum. Mm-hmm. So let it go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Only got one shot at that,
That's right?
Do you think, you've been in this game for a long time, do you think the talent is more widely dispersed than it was years ago?
Probably so, yeah. And with, the transfer portal, guys want to play now. They don't want to sit on a pine. And if they think they can play and they've got somebody else that thinks they can play, they're more apt to make a move. Mm-hmm. So I think the talent level's definitely equaled out quite a bit. And, so every year there's going to be new teams emerge, and there's going to be top 5, 10 teams disappear from the top 25, which there were a number of them this year.
Yeah, and I think that you talked about the shift in power. I think that's part of it, right? There aren't just 3 or 4 teams that are going to get all the recruits. And
no question. There's no doubt about it. You can't stockpile players anymore.
Yeah. I also think that makes coaching more important. If the talent becomes more dispersed, you can't hide behind this talent and with a bad program.
I think you're right. Yeah. You know, when I was younger, I got a great break. I was coaching the Southwest Conference. I was 23 years old. That was a premier conference back then. But I was with some teams that weren't very good for a while. And I always thought it was all about players. Mm. And now I've been a head coach for 15 years, and the rules have changed quite a bit, like you just mentioned, where things have evened out. And I really, especially since I've come here, you know, coaching counts.
Yeah.
I mean, big time. And the more equal the talent, the more coaching counts.
I think that's right, because I think that's true. And a lot of programs got away with just kind of running their program, but they had an unbelievable amount of talent. And now if everybody's if it's kind of evening out, you see the coaching role become even more important. I think that's part of the reason why you see a lot of the coaching openings coming up, because people are realizing the program. And it's not just, I mean, talk a little bit about, it isn't just the coaching the X and the O's. It's running a program now. You're running a whole...
Oh, yeah, there's no doubt about it. And there's a lot that goes into it. You know, I'm responsible for every person that walks through this door, whether it's a coach, player, or support staff. Mm-hmm. I got to put my stamp on it. They got to be the right kind of people.
Yeah.
And then you got to have a blueprint and a plan to create an environment where people can thrive, and a process where people can improve daily. And if you prepare the right way, you've heard me say it a number of times, there's no self-imposed limitation, should be no self-imposed limitations on what you can accomplish. Because then the next job is to get in everybody's head and get everybody to think alike. Mm-hmm. And like, you go into a game prepared, you go into a game with the right mindset, you still have to put it on the field. And that's where fast foods go relentless, one play at a time. That's how we wanted to play. This team did a great job of playing that way. This team also did a great job, I thought, in terms of their consistency. Day in, day out, week in, week out, showing up prepared and playing pretty darn consistent in all three phases of the game.
But, you know, you talk about, when it comes to the field, though, you only get to that point because you have tremendous alignment in your staff, your coaches, everybody's rowing the same direction.
You got to have it.
I don't,
Absolutely.
But I think you have to have it. I don't see it in a lot of sports organizations. There isn't that alignment. In businesses, if a well-run business, you see that.
Yeah.
It seems like sports has been slow to catch up with that. I think you are ahead of the curve in terms of understanding how that works.
Well, I can't speak to even the NFL or what goes on in baseball or basketball because I'm a college football guy. I know college football. But I think that's one of the most important things, without a doubt, is getting everybody to think alike, on the same page. When you take over a losing program, changing the way people think in terms of standards, expectations. Now, you got to produce still. You got to win, which builds confidence and belief, and that thing just snowballs. So far so good.
Yeah. Last time we talked, it was before the season started. And we talked a little bit about the Notre Dame game, and I asked you if you felt like, for some folks, some players, the stage may have felt big. And you kind of said, yeah, maybe. I never got the sense this year that the stage ever felt too big for any of them. Did you feel that?
No, absolutely not. I mean, this team met every challenge.
Yeah.
I mean, we were waiting on Illinois. They were number 9 in the country. They were going to be this year's Indiana, so to speak, and we wiped them out here at home. Went to Iowa, which is a really hard place to play.
Yeah.
And pulled it out at the end. And then you go to Oregon, who was playing as good as anybody in America. That was a great win. That was a big step for us. But then you go to Penn State, who's got players now.
Yeah.
And they were playing with a lot of energy at the time. And they got all the momentum. And to pull that out the way we did, like, wow. I learned something about our team that day.
Yeah. This was the first time I saw you a little bit emotional after the game.
It was something.
Why? What made it so unique?
Because all the odds were stacked against us.
Yeah.
There were 105,000 people in that stadium. They had scored 17 straight points. We had done nothing, 3 straight series. There's a minute 40 to go on the clock. We got to go 75 yards, and we get a sack on first down, lose about 13 yards, and the clock's running. There couldn't have been, if you stopped everything and said, okay, write down on a piece of paper who's going to win this game. There couldn't have been 10 people.
The SBN metrics
in the whole stadium. Well, 11. I'm going to say 11. Okay, those 11 guys in that huddle.
Yeah.
Right? Who flipped the switch just like that, starting with the quarterback.
Yeah.
Right? And got it done.
that's why I say I don't think the stage ever felt too big for them. Is that just a mindset, or what is that?
Yeah, I think that is belief, confidence, maturity. We have a lot of experience, a lot of starts under our belt.
Yeah.
And we're getting great quarterback play, and we got a lot of guys that got the right stuff. And, what we're preaching is sinking in.
So I'm curious about that, because you also have said several times that the 2024 team didn't get its credit. And I'm curious, do you mean the quality of the season they put together, or is it because of the foundation they built to get to this next season?
Both. That's a team that never trailed till the 9th game of the year. And then we went up to Michigan State, fell behind 10-0, scored 47 straight points to go 9-0. Led the country in point differential. I mean, which is huge. And then, 10-0, go to Ohio State for a quarter and a half. We're up, then tied into the half, and then the wheels came off. And Ohio State was a great football team, and we made some mistakes. Was the moment too big at that point in time? As the second quarter got rolling, the last half of the second, maybe, and we didn't respond well. Notre Dame, I don't feel like the moment was too big. I really don't. Mm-hmm. They made a huge run. We threw an interception. We got down there, and we made a misread and threw an interception. They got the ball. And, they spit it out. We got a missed assignment or two for a 98-yard run. Guy's a great player. We just didn't get much done on offense that night. We really didn't. And defensively, we weren't bad, but we had a hard time catching that quarterback in the pocket. He was very elusive. Yeah. And they played very well, and they were good, and they were coming on, and they were playing with confidence, and they went to the national championship.
So,
and you know what? And it was a hostile environment.
Yeah.
Like people that have been going to Notre Dame games told me, said they've never seen an environment like that there before.
Yeah. I do wonder, though, if that experience going through that transferred for some of those students who came back, or the athletes who came back, and they brought that into the next year's team, where it was like, we've been there, we know what this is.
I don't think there's any question.
Yeah.
You got to learn from failure if you're going to improve and get better. And I think those guys did. And also then, the off season, all the talk, I think they all heard it, and that, they were
motivation.
A little motivation. Yeah.
You had some key injuries this year that you didn't have to face last year, I think.
Yeah, we did.
Stephen Daly as an example.
Yeah.
What always impressed me was, I thought, oh boy, okay, who's next up, and are they going to be as impactful? And then, Ndukwe comes in and is a world beater.
That's right.
How does that happen? I mean, that doesn't always happen with teams. What makes that possible?
Well, and Kellen Wyatt, because we started the year, we had 3 DNs that were going to roll for 2 spots. All of a sudden, both of them are out. Ndukwe's been in the program. He had his opportunity, had his chance, a la Charlie Becker.
Yeah.
And took advantage of it. He's here for a reason. He has talent. We've got a lot of capable people. Sometimes they just need an opportunity.
Yeah. Is that a testament to, we were talking about the alignment before, to have somebody that prepared and come in, is that, your coaching staff getting them to that level of preparation?
Well, yeah, our job is development, and it happens in the weight room, it happens in the coaching meetings and on the practice field, and the things that we think are the principles and values of the program. But you also got to give Daniel Ndukwe a lot of credit for being committed, paying the price day in, day out, working to improve, waiting for his opportunity, and preparing himself for his opportunity.
Yeah, and then come in and perform the way he did.
That's right.
Remarkable. Charlie Becker.
Charlie Becker.
Incredible. I know when I I happened to see you at one point, and I looked at you and thought, I'm not sure you'd slept in a while. That was no craziness of the run up in the portal.
Right.
I don't know if people understand how crazy that time is. Just walk us through what that was like that week, 2 weeks of the portal, and then preparing for the national championship.
Yeah, well, you got a week to prepare for an opponent, generally speaking, right? And everything is a rush, because you're always working to find the edge, and time is limited. Now you add official visits into that mix, which has taken up 6 hours of your Sunday, and then a few more hours of your Monday, right? And all of a sudden you're behind. Where do you catch up? When do you catch up? Maybe you're staying later at night. You're not sleeping as much. I probably had 4 straight nights going into whether it was the Oregon game, I think it was maybe, where I'd slept 3 hours every night.
That's the hard way
It catches up to you.
Yeah, it does. It was the same way for your staff as well. I assume they're kind of.
Well, it falls on me a little more than the staff because I've got to sit down and meet with each prospect individually.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Whereas maybe they only have to meet with their guy.
Okay.
But yeah, it's a burden on them too.
Yeah. So you've advocated for moving the portal, I think, right, to a different time.
Yeah, I don't know what the answer is. I think if it was a simple answer, we'd have found it already.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, this is college, and second semester starts at a certain time, but then some schools are on quarter systems, and then you can't start the season too early because the students aren't back. And we would all love to play a season and then start the playoffs.
Yeah.
End the playoffs, then go into recruiting. Whether we can make that happen or not, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, you've said before, you can assess a player in a few minutes to determine. You've seen their film, so you know what they can do. But then you have a few minutes to decide, is this a person that we're going to want on the team?
Right.
And are they going to be committed? So I want to run through a few of these players here with you and just see what you think and what you saw for them. So let's start with new quarterback, Josh Hoover.
Josh Hoover, watched a lot of tape on him, highly productive guy. Starting experience, production, almost 10,000 yards, about 80 touchdowns, won a lot of football games. What he's done speaks for itself. And now, our job is to get him and make him better.
Okay. Nick Marsh.
Well, I've saw Nick Marsh 2 years in a row up close and personal. And then when you're getting ready to play whoever, sometimes you get Michigan State in the exchange. And I still remember his Maryland game in 24 when he would have been a true freshman, catching a couple posts. And, that guy's always been very impressive.
And you talk to them and you think this guy, there's lots of people who can produce, but it's also about what they bring to the table as a mentality and an approach, right?
There's no question about it. And I think in his situation, the tape speaks for itself because with a receiver, sometimes you want to see how they block. They all want to catch the ball. Now, do they have good ball skills? Can they separate? Can they make the big play? Are they out there every play or every game? Are they durable? But like you watch Nick Marsh block, and he's like a warrior. And then you watch him catch a slant in the low red and break 3 tackles to score. It's impressive.
Okay. Shaz Preston.
Guy's been around a long time. Fifth year. Had a really productive season last year, really good ball skills, good size, good strength. And he's older. He understands what it takes.
Yeah. How about Osansami?
Chitty or Toby?
Toby.
Toby. Unusual movement. Played at Kansas State, pass rush
What do
ability.
you mean by unusual movement?
Big time twitch. Could get from here to there real fast. Good get off.
Yeah.
He's got good pass rush ability.
How about A.J. Harris?
Well, A.J. Harris was second or third team All Big Ten a year ago. Getting ready for him, thought he was a good player, good size. Of course, with Pawns going out, there's a hole there. And now everything's earned, not given. He'll have to compete for a starting job. But, he's put it on tape, and so we thought he had value for us.
And your special teams, how do you feel about there? That's not something most people don't focus on. But
yeah, special teams is huge. We've had a long snapper, kickoff guy, long field goal guy, and a punter. And, our ads in the past have been extremely valuable. And we got Quinn Warren here, too, who certainly will compete, for the punting job and the kickoff job. And Nico's money in the bank.
Yeah.
So, our special teams composite nationally has been top 10 the last 3 years and continues to move up.
And I think all the fans will know what to expect from the returning guys, but you've also got the freshman class coming in too. How do you feel about that?
I think it's a good class. I really do. And we like it. And, probably a notch above the class the year before because this class was put together and these guys had a chance to see our success on the field. Whereas the first class was kind of put together on dreams, promises.
A leap of faith.
Vision. Yeah.
Now, the previous teams you've had, it seems like they've always had a chip on their shoulder. Sort of had that Misfits brand or the underlooked, This team, I don't think, is going to be that way. It's probably going to be ranked in the top 3 in the country. It's going to be a different dynamic.
Well, you never know what can go on between now and the start of the season. We'll find any motivator we can. I'm the kind of guy that tends to find one and dwell on it.
Yeah.
And, but it's a new team, no doubt about it, a lot of new faces. That's college football nowadays. But, I felt like last year's team was a new team.
Mm-hmm.
We had lost a lot of key contributors from last year's team. This year's really not much different. So anxious to get going with them. We got them down in the weight room now. Of course, we got a new strength and conditioning coach, and which is a key job. Get them out there for spring ball, summer program, fall camp, and get them ready to play.
That's one important thing I didn't realize was when you're making that national championship run, you actually have 2 teams in the house.
Yeah, that was different.
That's not something you experienced before, I'd imagine.
No, that's a first.
Yeah, how do you manage that? You got
the best plan put together by Derek and Blake Jackson, director of football ops. Derek trained them separately, and they didn't take part in meetings or practice.
Okay.
We kept them separate because they were 2 separate teams.
Yeah.
So we had 19 high school guys and 17 transfers here for about 10 days.
But they also get to experience what that winning looks like and the amount of work those guys put in their current team. Just on that question, if you listen to the people who have won a lot and created championships, they say it's one thing to get to the mountain, another thing to stay on it. Will you change anything about your approach to try to stay on it versus trying to get there?
I mean, fundamentally, the things I believe in do not change, and they'll be the same. My messages daily can change depending on how I think we're doing. If we're on course, I don't say much. If I see things I don't like, I say a lot in as few words as possible. And it's been that way since I started.
But you don't think it'll have to change because players' expectations may change or those kind of things. Do you have to adjust that? Is it just a motivation issue?
Well, I think you're talking about the team mindset, and I'm not going to assume that we're going to be fat and happy just because we won a national championship, right? I'm going to see it for what it is and every day make a determination where we're at. And are we meeting the standard or not consistently?
Yeah. This run, I'll wrap up here shortly, but this run you made, there were some new experiences in there for you as a coach and as a person.
Yeah.
Did you learn anything that was surprising about yourself or leadership during that time?
All I learned about myself was I was ready for the moment. And I felt fully confident that I was ready for the moment. And I thought our players were ready for the moment. And I don't think our preparation for Ohio State, Alabama, Oregon, or Miami was any different than Game 5 from the season, which was a true testament to the consistency in the entire organization.
Yeah. How did your family hold up during this whole thing?
Pretty good.
It had to be nerve-wracking for them, I would imagine.
Well, a lot of nice trips.
Yeah, that's right.
A lot of good celebrations.
Just the change, I think about it from a family perspective, but I saw you at the basketball game the other night, and so many people want to come up and take pictures with you and just to thank you for what you've done for them. That's a new experience. I mean,
yeah, that went on last year too.
It's a different level now, though.
It's a different level now. We got pretty high last year, but it's a different level now. And I guess it beats the alternative, right? And,
yeah.
I try to sign as many things as I can.
You were very gracious. I noticed you said hi to. It was amazing what you did.
Yeah, and because I want to represent the university well in the football program and portray the right things and give people their moment in time. Now, on the flip side, when you win the national championship, you have a lot of outside requests, which I'm not. I excel at what I do because I love what I do. And I spend time doing what's important in terms of developing and preparing this team. So I am not going to get distracted by going here or there to speak and all those other things. So anything really that's taken.
That's probably what knocks people off the mountaintop, to be honest.
It can. I think it can. If there's something that can be done in the state that would really benefit Indiana, the football program, or the state of Indiana, then I'll do it.
Yeah.
But a lot of the other things we're just declining.
Yeah. Well, so as a long-time IU fan, I just want to say on behalf of all of us who have been long-time IU fans, thank you. Not only for just the experiences and the wins the way you did it. But as time goes on for me, as I get past this national championship, there's the euphoria of the win.
Yeah.
And then it starts to dawn on you, like, it's really about the experiences you have. Because when you go to sporting events, you go with your closest friends, your family, and you're sharing something together.
Yeah.
That's something that will last for a lifetime. So thank you for that.
Well, you're welcome. Coach Johnny Majors was a legend back in his day, and he used to always say, the fun is in the doing.
Yeah.
So you got to love the process.
Yeah.
And there were certainly some great memories there.
For sure.
Pictures that will live forever, videos. But it's, it's time to get ready for the next one.
Yeah. Well, one last question.
Mm-hmm.
You talked about how this make a great movie. Who's going to play you in the movie?
I have no idea.
Who would you want to play you?
I'm not even up on who's who. A couple people have run some names by me, and I said, okay, yeah, that'd be pretty cool, maybe. But I haven't really thought much about it, really. Don't intend on making one either, as long as I'm coaching.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.